皆さん、こんにちは。ジャスティン・リープです。よろしくお願いします。今日ね、金曜日ですから、お疲れ様です。Yeah, that's me speaking Japanese for 10 seconds. Welcome to another Leap to the Past. I'm Justin. Today I was actually on set for something, and I was playing a cop. And this was actually the first time in 2 years plus living and working as an actor in Tokyo that I played a police officer here, which is weird because in the US, I was a cop a lot. So why don't I talk about my time being a cop for various things in the US? Most of them were background things, but maybe there's some interesting stories in there. I haven't pre planned this at all, so let's go into it. I signed with Central Casting when I had the time and inclination while I was living in Los Angeles. Central Casting is the biggest background actor slash extra, whatever you want to call it, same potato um, organization in the world as far as I know. And you call in and you listen to their recordings and they talk about shows. Maybe the process has changed. The system has changed, but yeah, you call their answering machine. They have a bunch of opportunities. You pick one that you're interested in or something. You call them and leave a message. Usually they call you back, let you know, and usually if they like you, if they want you, if they have the space, you're good to go. They give you the details. So I think the first thing that I did for Central Casting as a background extra was CSI. Well, as a cop was CSI New York, and they had converted an entire block in downtown Los Angeles. Why did I say that weird? In downtown Los Angeles, which they call Los in Japan for some reason, converted it to look like New York. So they had a lot of cabs, a lot of New York Police Department vehicles, all that sort of thing. And I was one of, let's say, a half dozen cops. So there were a couple different places where they were having sets and shooting on that day, and they would jump around, and they went like, okay, we need two cops to come, two extras, come with us over here, and we'll do this scene. So they said that, and the rest of us were chilling out and holding, eating craft services, whatever. This was non-union for us, but it was, of course, a union gig. CSI New York was a big show. And I decided, you know what? Instead of just sitting around here, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna hitch a ride. So I went there, and they actually saw me in the side, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you too. Okay." Gary Sinise, who many people know as Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. He's been in a lot of other stuff. He hands me a murder weapon, and I take it, and I go off screen, and it was neat. And I kind of came into the scene with Gary Sinise and some of the other principals on that show, and like talked to them, and they were cool to me, and that meant a lot. And when that episode came out, it was a nice little 2 seconds of me on camera taking a gun and going away. Then I think maybe the next thing I did was as a cop was Arrested Development season 4, the Netflix season. I remember going to set. It was at like a kind of in the Marina Del Rey marina part of West LA, fancy like yacht club, and there weren't. I think I might have been the only cop. There's a big party scene, but I was the only cop, and a couple of the characters were supposed to be like destroying evidence on a yacht, and I walk by and kind of give them the stink eye, and they make up an excuse, and I kind of keep walking past. And that again got some nice footage because it really is a background extra. You kind of hope to have not a terrible day, not be sitting around in squalid conditions, and maybe a screenshot or two to try to amaze your friends. And I definitely got that with Arrested Development. I remember before shooting started that day, I was at craft services getting some breakfast burrito or something, and I saw Terry Crews, and I didn't know he was on Arrested Development, and I went, hey, went up to him. I said, hey, Mr. Crews, I'm seeing you here put me in a better mood. I'm very excited to see you here. And he was like, oh, thank you, man. And that was nice. And I saw Marilyn Rathschub from 24, but also from Mr. Show, one of my favorite shows, which is a sketch comedy show that was on HBO with Bob Odenkirk, David Cross, Paul F. Tompkins. she was on that, and she looked great. And I told her, like, you look really well. It's very nice to see you. And she accepted my sincere compliment graciously, because that's the key to complimenting people, especially celebrities, is you go in a good time, you say something sincere and succinct, and you let them acknowledge it, and then you stop. And if you get the feeling that they would like to continue the conversation, you continue that conversation. If not, you bow out, wish them a good day, and you go, which is what I did. And that was fun on Arrested Development. I wasn't a huge fan of the show, but I liked it. And so that season I watched, and I think I ended up on a couple episodes because it's a really weird timeline. And then I did 3 days on Justified. Justified is a really cool cop drama that was on cable. And I didn't know about it until I got on that show, but I really started watching it before I got the gig. I think as I was leading up to the gig, because they give you a little advance notice. And yeah, that was really great. I got a good picture of me and the main character, who I'm sorry, I forget his name. Harlan is his name on the show. I forget his name. He was in the poorly received Hitman movie also. But he and I kind of storm a room together, and I got to actually literally drive a cop car. And that gig, at least for one of the days, I was union. Even though I think I didn't have my SAG card yet, I was union, so I got like at least $180 or something per day. You know, you get the union rate. There were 3 of us, and I think they rewarded us for being so good the first 2 days by giving us union status the 3rd day. I don't know the logistics of it, but that was the gist of it. So that was cool. I did a cop stuntman in a movie called Abducted, which I think was released in the UK. It was like during when, what's that Liam Neeson movie, Taken? When Taken was a big deal, and then they just started making all these Taken clones, like they're doing with John Wick in the last couple of years. But this guy was training with my sensei, private lessons, British dude, little older, pretty good shape. I don't remember his name, Mark, I think. Nah, maybe not. But he was doing this movie, and it had some pretty big money behind it, and my sensei was involved and got me and some of the students to be stuntmen, and I was a cop. We storm in, me and another guy, Galen, storm into the house, see his dead wife, blame him, and then he kind of goes ballistic on us, and he beat me up. But he was like the first take, the rehearsal take. I'm pretty sure he kind of elbowed me right in the bridge of the nose. Luckily, I didn't break anything. Wasn't really. I don't think I was bleeding, but was not super happy that was how the first take went. And it really, subsequent takes were just as reckless on his part. But you know, that's why stuntmen are, well, what, they don't make the big bucks, and they're not heralded. That's why stuntmen are tough. Let's say that. Let's use that. And I just recently saw that movie on YouTube. I started Googling for stuff back when I looked for my Andrew Jackson documentary or movie. I found that on YouTube, and I also looked for Abducted and found that, and like there was not even a good still screenshot worth of action of me where you could kind of see it was me and it looked like something cool. So that's unfortunate, because that was not just a background gig, that was a stunt gig. But hey, I'm pretty sure it's on IMDb, and it's definitely on my resume. So that's not too bad. Yeah, bada bing. Now this is kind of the transition between getting home from on set to trying to go to the gym. So I'm going to go to the gym now. Rocking my Beastie Boys shirt today. Love the Beastie Boys. You should too. And thank you for watching. It's been great seeing the response, the thumbs up, the comments, the viewership of these things. I know that WWE and game stuff is getting better views, but hopefully you're liking the not so popular, cool ones. And I thank you for your viewership. And let's sleep again soon. Justin Leeper out. Sayonara.